Okay, so today is National Power Rangers Day, and as I mentioned on the channel a few times in the past, and as you can see from the everything about me and my recording set, I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers. And with a cool anniversary coming up, the 30th season of the show, obviously I was looking forward to whatever news we were going to get. Like, Power Rangers being an adaptation of Super Sentai, each time one scheme is mostly used up, one Sentai series is mostly used up, the most recent one being Ryusoulger. We as a fandom look forward to learning which Sentai will be adapted next so we can start to get a feel for what the aesthetic of the season is going to be, and maybe start to like headcanon and theorize about which storylines from that Sentai are going to be adapted and how they're going to be adapted. It's a really fun time for us. But ever since Power Rangers Turbo set the precedent of changing essentially the entire team, when the last of the original Rangers were replaced with new Rangers, and then Lost Galaxy made it official by literally changing the entire cast between seasons, Power Rangers has changed casts between seasons completely every single time a storyline was finished. And sometimes, like with Megaforce, that isn't specifically when they stop adapting a specific Sentai, but most of the time it is. So, until literally 6 hours ago today-ish, we thought that was going to be the same with Dino Fury, the most recent series based on Ryusoulger. But today it was announced that that's not the case. For the first time since the original show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the same cast is going to be brought back on for a third season, with the Ryusoulger adaptation being broken up over 2 seasons, where moving from one season to the next, they're going to change storylines and powers, seemingly to adapt another Super Sentai. Though we're not entirely sure if that's exactly what's going to happen. That's my best guess at this point in time, but there's also the possibility that we'll get an entirely original Power Rangers show, with entirely original suits, powers, and storylines. And I honestly don't know which one I find more exciting, because we've been getting a lot of rumors for a very long time about the future of Power Rangers. Hasbro wants to create sort of an interconnected Power Rangers multiverse in entertainment form. And part of that has been the persistent rumor for a couple years now that Power Rangers is going to stop adapting Super Sentai and just start creating Super Sentai-esque, tokusatsu-esque shows with American resources, Western resources, that Power Rangers will just wholly become a Western entry into the tokusatsu genre. And considering that I have praised Power Rangers Dino Fury as being a very good show with a very strong cast, this would be the perfect time for them to break away and do that. And honestly, as much as some people who are more specifically fans of the whole umbrella of Super Sentai and its offshoots, I haven't really liked the last two Sentai at all. Like, they're fine, but they were trying to do something a little different than the typical Sentai, while still honoring its past. And I don't like that. I didn't really like that in general. But then, like, it didn't feel like it could be adapted faithfully into Power Rangers. And there's still other Sentais that could be adapted instead, right? But, like, I feel like unless Sentai returns to something more typical of what it used to be, breaking away from Sentai is going to become necessary if Power Rangers is going to be able to maintain itself as a brand. Like, this is, I'm not bashing the Sentai. It's just the 2 newest ones haven't been my thing, and I don't feel like they work for Power Rangers. Doesn't mean I think they're actually, like, objectively bad, right? But we did get this announcement, and we got an announcement of the title, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. We even got a logo. It looks pretty good. It looks like it's gonna maintain at least some elements from Dino Fury. But the title Cosmic Fury brings a couple of things to mind. I mentioned in my 2 cents of Power Rangers Dino Fury, and I stand behind most of what I said in that about what I felt about the show. Literally the only thing I have to update that my 2 cents is that they do eventually bring in a more conventional Power Rangers main villain to replace the more interesting Void Knight, but they do it in a really interesting way. So I still think it's good, and it's also like connecting itself to the past lore of Power Rangers possibly more strongly than any other series, which is fantastic. So definitely still a recommended show. But as I mentioned in that my 2 cents, their Red Ranger is an alien from another planet, and throughout the show, it seems like his planet's been destroyed for a very long time. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it starts to turn out that might not be true. And so the title, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, could mean that very much like in Power Rangers in Space, the team is going to go out into space to look for something, that being Zeto's home planet. And if that's the case, then I feel like they're definitely going to adapt, Uchu Sentai Q Ranger, I think is how it's pronounced, where the power theme is literally constellations, stars. And I can imagine it would be a lot of fun for Hasbro to make toys off of, because it's like the largest Power Rangers team with the largest amount of Zords, to use the American terminologies, that we've ever gotten. And while I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic, it's fine. And if Hasbro is able to do something with the toy line like they've done with the Dino Fury toy line and add a lot of new articulation and features to some only pretty okay designs from Ryu's Soldier, I think it could be really great as a collector. And the fact that Q Ranger had such a large cast will give them a ton of characters to adapt to bring in almost another full cast of Rangers to supplement the existing cast. Like back when the fandom was talking about, like, they'll never adapt Q Ranger because there's too many characters to introduce in one season. Or one long season broken up over 2 shorter ones, as Dino Fury was. But if they already have like half the cast introduced and established, then they could do that with the rest. And actually adapt this season, which, from what I've never actually watched it, from what I understand, it had some pretty good storylines that could be adapted into Power Rangers. But there have also been some rumors that it'll be Mashin Sentai Kira Major that gets adapted. Like some of the stuff coming out of the rumor mill has suggested that even before we got this announcement. And I'd actually also be pretty psyched if that was the case. I have the... Where are you back there? Is it behind my head? No, it's right there. Right there. The main mecha from Kira Major. It's aesthetically one of my favorite seasons. Had some absolutely fantastic fight sequences, some absolutely fantastic fight choreography. It's one of the few Sentai I've watched almost every episode of. And that would make it a little awkward watching a Power Rangers adapted from it. For the same reason that I find it kind of awkward going and watching one of the Sentais that I watched as a Power Rangers first. But man, I would love to see what Hasbro does with those toys. And I just like the aesthetic of it in general. I think it would be pretty fantastic. So either way, I think it would be great. I'm a little more anxious about if they decide to go a more original route with it. But that could be really great too. Like, I'm anxious about them breaking away from Sentai, because Power Rangers has always been Sentai, and such major changes to a property can spell doom for it. But Hasbro's been doing some really great stuff. They could easily pull it off and change Power Rangers forever for the better. So I'm cautiously optimistic about that if that's the direction they go. But man, is this whole thing so exciting. Finding out that one of the strongest casts in Power Rangers ever, and this is, again, no offense to the other casts, they've all been good in one way or another, if not great, but this is one of the strongest casts in Power Rangers ever, with some of the strongest writing and some of the best lore work that we've gotten in the entire franchise. The idea of all of that carrying over into the future, even for just one more season, is great. I couldn't be more thrilled. Like, regardless of how they decide to progress the story, at least we're getting these same people back. Same creative staff, same cast. I'm very excited about that one way or another. The future of Power Rangers seems bright, is what I am saying. And now I'm jumping back on here as I'm sitting here editing the video. because I'm seeing some stuff that suggests that we might be getting more to this announcement even as soon as today, which is Sunday. I don't know if this might go out after Sunday, but it's this Sunday that I'm seeing this. So there may be more to this for me to talk about. So like, definitely check the social media links down below. I'll like put out on my I'll actually use my Twitter and put out on my Twitter what I think about whatever announcements we get in the coming days, if you guys are interested in this. And like, yes, this is a video that literally no one's going to care about, and I literally just did my 2 cents, but I couldn't help but talk about this. So there you go. I don't really have anything else to say. Power Rangers fans, if you exist in my comments, let's talk about this. I'd really like to talk about this with somebody, hence why I made a video talking about it. But that's been my 2 cents on Power Rangers Cosmic Fury and its announcement. Leave those comments in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, you might as well like the video and share it with anyone else who you think would enjoy my content. Subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out links to my various social medias. Those will be in the video description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.